My name is Emily Carter, and the day my father tried to destroy my life started like any other normal morning. But by the end of that night, an envelope my grandmother left behind would expose a secret that flipped everything upside down. And the person who planned my downfall, he never saw it coming. Let me explain. It started 3 weeks before my grandmother's funeral. I remember the moment clearly. I walked into the kitchen, and my dad stopped talking the second he saw me. That silence, yeah, that silence said everything. My stepmom Lisa was there too, her arms crossed, her eyes cold, like I was a stranger in my own house. Emily, my dad said slowly, we need to talk. Whenever a parent says that, you already know it's not good, but I had no idea how bad this was about to get. My grandmother, Margaret Carter, was dying. She had raised me for half my childhood. When my mom left, Grandma stepped in. She helped with homework. She came to every school play. She even saved money for my college. At least, that's what I thought. Because apparently, my dad believed something very different. And that's when the accusations started. Grandma told us everything. My dad said. I frowned. What do you mean? Lisa leaned forward, her voice sharp. She told us you've been manipulating her for years. Manipulating? I laughed at first. I thought it was a joke. But then I saw my dad's face. Stone cold. No smile. No hesitation. He actually believed it. According to them, I had been convincing Grandma to leave me her money. They said I visited her too often, called her too much, spent too much time with her. And somehow that meant I was controlling her. I remember just staring at them, confused, hurt. She's my grandma, I said quietly, but my dad slammed his hand on the table. You've been poisoning her against this family. Poisoning? Against who? Against the woman who married him 2 years after my mom disappeared. Against the woman who never liked me from day one? Yeah, apparently that was the story now. And things escalated fast. Within days, rumors started spreading. My cousin stopped answering my calls. My aunt blocked me. Even family friends started looking at me differently, like I was some kind of scammer, like I was waiting for my grandmother to die, just for money. And the worst part, my dad was leading the charge. He told everyone, every relative, every neighbor, even people at church, his own daughter was manipulating a dying old woman. But the part that really broke me, the night I visited Grandma in the hospital, she looked weaker than I'd ever seen her. But when she saw me, she smiled. Emmy, she whispered. That's what she always called me. I held her hand, trying not to cry. And then she said something that confused me, something that didn't match anything my dad claimed. Don't worry, she said softly. I already handled everything. I frowned. Handled what? But before she could answer, my dad walked into the room, and suddenly Grandma went quiet. His voice was cold. Emily shouldn't be here. I looked at him in shock. She came to see me, Grandma said, but my dad shook his head. She's been causing enough damage already. Damage? In front of her? Really? I expected Grandma to defend me, to explain everything. But instead, she just looked at me and gave me the strangest smile, almost like she knew something none of us did. 3 days later, Grandma passed away, and that's when my dad made his final move, the move that was supposed to destroy me. At the family meeting after the funeral, he stood up in front of everyone, holding a stack of papers, his voice loud. confident. Before anyone gets any ideas, he said, "I want everyone to know Emily tried to manipulate Mom for her inheritance." Gasps filled the room. My chest tightened. I couldn't believe he was doing this. Not today. Not at her funeral gathering. But he wasn't finished. He turned toward the family lawyer. "Go ahead," my dad said. "Read the will." Everyone looked at me, judging, whispering, waiting. My dad looked completely satisfied, like he had already won, like he had already destroyed my reputation forever. But then the lawyer paused. He looked confused. Then he reached into his briefcase and pulled out something unexpected. Not the will, an envelope, a sealed envelope with my grandmother's handwriting on it. And the moment the lawyer said what was written on the front, my father's confident smile slowly disappeared, because written across the envelope were 5 words. "Open this if Robert lies." Robert, that's my dad. And suddenly, every person in that room turned to look at him. And the lawyer slowly started opening the envelope. The room went completely silent. You could hear chairs creaking, people breathing. Everyone was staring at that envelope. And my dad, Robert Carter, the man who had just spent weeks destroying my reputation, he suddenly didn't look so confident anymore. His jaw tightened. "That's ridiculous," he said quickly. But the lawyer didn't respond. He simply adjusted his glasses and carefully opened the envelope. Slowly, almost painfully slow. Why would Grandma write something like that? "Open this if Robert lies." What did she know? And more importantly, what was inside? The lawyer pulled out a folded letter and something else, a small USB drive. Now the room was buzzing with whispers. My aunt leaned forward. "What's on it?" The lawyer cleared his throat. "This letter is written by Margaret Carter. It includes instructions to play the file on this drive in front of the entire family." My stomach flipped. A video? My dad shifted in his seat. "That's unnecessary," he said quickly, too quickly. But the lawyer ignored him. He walked to the TV mounted on the wall, plugged the drive in, and suddenly the screen turned on. A moment of static. Then the image appeared, and my heart almost stopped. It was Grandma, sitting in her living room, looking straight at the camera, healthier than the last time I saw her, but serious, very serious. She took a slow breath, and then she started talking. "If you are watching this, it means my son Robert is lying again." The entire room froze. My dad shot up from his chair. "This is ridiculous." But no one moved. No one stopped the video, because Grandma kept speaking, and every word felt like a hammer dropping. "Robert has been trying to convince the family that Emily manipulated me." She paused, then shook her head. "That is not true." A few people glanced at me, their expressions changing, confused, uneasy. But Grandma wasn't finished, not even close. For the past year, she continued, "Robert and Lisa have been pressuring me to change my will." Now the room exploded in whispers. My stepmom's face went pale. My dad looked like someone had punched him in the chest. Grandma continued calmly. "They wanted me to leave everything to Robert." Another pause, but I refused. My cousin whispered, "Wait, what?" Grandma looked tired in the video, but determined. So Robert started visiting more often. And at first, I thought he wanted to reconnect. She gave a sad smile, but then he brought documents, new wills, new instructions. He wanted me to sign them. My dad suddenly yelled, "Turn that off." But the lawyer folded his arms. "No, and The video kept playing. Grandma leaned closer to the camera. Emily has never asked me for money. Not once. She visited because she loved me. Her voice softened, and because she was the only one who actually cared how I was feeling. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe, because hearing that, after weeks of being called a manipulator, it felt like the truth was finally fighting back. But then came the real bombshell. Grandma reached for something off camera, a stack of papers. I knew Robert would try something, she said, so I recorded everything. Everything. The room froze again. My dad stopped moving. His face turned white. And then the video cut to another clip. This one was recorded secretly in Grandma's kitchen. You could see my dad sitting at the table, Lisa beside him, and my grandmother across from them. The date was visible on the screen. 6 months ago. And then my dad started talking. "Mom," he said impatiently, "you're old. You can't manage this money." Lisa leaned in. "You should sign the new will." Grandma shook her head. "No." And then my dad said something that made the entire room gasp. "If you don't sign it," he snapped, "I'll make sure Emily never sees a cent." Silence. Pure silence. Everyone turned toward him. But the video wasn't done yet, because Grandma responded, and what she said next completely destroyed him. "Robert," she said quietly, "why are you so afraid Emily will inherit anything?" My dad leaned back and laughed, a cold laugh, "because she's not even your real granddaughter." The room exploded. People stood up. What? But Grandma didn't look shocked. In the video, she looked disappointed, very disappointed, and she said something that changed everything. "Robert, you never knew the truth, did you?" My dad frowned. What truth? Grandma looked straight at him and smiled sadly. The truth about Emily's mother. The video froze, and the lawyer slowly turned back to the room. Then he unfolded the letter and read the final line Grandma had written, a line that made my father collapse back into his chair, because it said, "Emily isn't just my granddaughter. She is the rightful owner of the Carter estate." And suddenly, the entire family realized my father hadn't just tried to destroy me. He had accidentally exposed a secret Grandma had been protecting for 20 years.